Hello YouTube! So I've been playing this game way too much and I thought, it's time for a tier list. 2B's coming out soon, so I thought I'd give my thoughts on every character before that because it was confirmed I think there's going to be a patch with her. And then maybe I'll update this tier list after we get to try out 2B and some of the patches. So anyway, let's get right into it. Okay, so let's get started. Just to give a heads up that my main characters are Yuel and Narmaya. I know you don't have to say anything about my character choice. So I think I'll rank them first. This is subject to change because as I add characters, maybe I'll move some up or down. But I think Narmaya is somewhere in the middle of the pack, maybe on the upper end of the pack. She's a very well-rounded character. I don't think she does anything like exceptionally well, but she also doesn't have like a big inherent flaw either. I think she does work a little harder. Like that's not like a tier list criticism, just like a why would you play her besides she's hot, whatever. But you have to learn things that like another character will just do, like medium, special, medium, and they'll just like do more damage than you. But overall, I think there's like no real complaints. I think she's fun. I get nothing to do with tier list, but she is fun. She has a lot of tools at her disposal, but none of them stand out to me as crazy. I think her unique skills and my thoughts on them change quite a bit, where sometimes I'm like, they're just a gimmick, there's like literally no point in using them. Other times I'm like, wow, I just get to skip neutral for fun. And I think the actual like strength of them is somewhere in between, where you have to use them with some thought or they just kind of get stuffed out by someone that knows how they work. But even then they still do have like some pretty good uses, like changing your jump arc. So overall I think she's somewhere in the middle of the pack. We'll see as I add more characters. Yuel on the other hand I think is quite good. She's not like Narmaya in that I think she does have inherent weaknesses. And you might think, why is she higher with weaknesses? Because I think she's allowed to do whatever she wants in a lot of other situations. I've seen some people say they don't think Yuel's very good. Probably mostly because of those weaknesses. She has no real threat at full range. Her unique skills are like next to useless, I think. Like I have used them sometimes, but it's maybe 1 in like 15 matches where I'm like, I really need this, back unique move or whatever. But yeah, I don't think they're very good, but they do have a very, a crumb of use. Again, she doesn't have a fireball, or she has like an inherent beat fireball move either. But I do think that when she gets in and she's good at getting in, she gets to do whatever she wants. She's so hard to play against when she's close to you because her defensive options are good. Her corner carry's pretty good. If she has you cornered, her corner damage is very high. I mean, everyone's is, so it's nothing crazy. She has access to a lot of plus frames. She gets to steal a lot of turns just by the way her counter stance works and how her EX backflip works. And I think the more I've played her, the more my opinion of her has actually went up. I originally was kind of dooming because I remember watching Diaphone play her, trying to get to master, and he kept saying that like, this is so much harder than every other character. She has to work so much harder. And I was like, top player thinks my character sucks. I must be a genius. But then the more I learned about her, I do feel like I was getting away with a lot. There's a lot of things about matchups I got to kind of learn. Here's just a quick example. Okay, so we all know how Nier gets to do this kind of stuff to you, or maybe it's not the exact combo, but she makes you land into her charged her medium slashes where you kind of have to block it, right? For most characters, you're just kind of doomed, right? You're gonna end up blocking. But what if I told you Yuel can do something like this? So Yuel can actually use her invincible back hop to get out of this and just jab death, and it makes her go away. This is like something I've discovered recently. I'm like, wow, that's like literally just flipped the matchup on my head. There are things like this with Yuel where I feel like because of the way her backflip works, like it's a reversal that doesn't commit to attacking, right? So you can't just get blocked and can be canceled. The way that her stance works in general, I feel like there's just so much small counterplay to be like unraveled in every single matchup that my opinion of her just went up and up. Just one example of like something that Nier kind of gets away for free that Yuel can actually deal with, which is pretty unique. And yeah, I think kind of highly of her. We'll see. I'm actually not sure how I'd rate her against the top characters, but I don't think she's anywhere near as good as like Nier, for example. So she's not going to go in S, but maybe we'll see. But speaking of Nier, I'll just throw up here. Everyone already knows. I think this character is kind of disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. Like usually when I look at the best character in the game or like the characters people talk about the best, I try to look at the flaws. And Nier definitely has, maybe one, but I think this character is pretty gross. I feel like I've probably said this before, but when I come to think of like the characters that just get away with the dumbest shit in the past like 10 years I've been playing fighting games, she might be number 1 on my list. I think this character is a war crime, and I hope she gets nerfed. That's about it for Nier. I don't have to go too much in detail. I'm sure you've all seen it or played against it. I'm gonna put Seox or Sheesh right behind her. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I just say Sheesh, man. I don't think he's quite as good as Nier, but I think he's very close. In fact, I'm actually going to S+ this and add a new tier. I know some people don't like this kind of stuff, but I do think that these are the best two characters in the game by quite a large margin. I shouldn't say quite a large margin. I think they're the best two in the game, and they're on their own tier. Like that's pretty much it. I do think like other characters can fight them and they can compete, but I do think they are quite a bit better than the characters I would put just under them. Enough to warrant them being another tier. This might end up making me put Yuel like somewhere at the end of the here and Narmaya here, but we'll see as we go. So Gran, I would put Gran. I'll just do that actually because I don't know where I'll end up putting everyone else. But I'm gonna put Gran on the same tier as Narmaya. I do think he's a little bit better actually, not by much. I would probably end up putting these two characters somewhat beside each other. I do think that Gran is a little very similar, where I think he's kind of like the well-rounded, not too many obvious flaws. I think Narmaya's normals are a bit better, but I do think Gran's even more well-rounded. He has his fireball. I don't know. He just has like really good corner carry. And I do think that, yeah, Gran's just a little bit better, but I think they're very similar in strength. These are both characters that when I lose to the other player, I'm like, you got me, you know? Very, very similar in that regard, but I do think Gran's just a little bit stronger. Jita I would actually put on the tier above. I think she's very similar to everything I said, but I think her corner carry is insane. Her charged fireball is great. But yeah, Jita is like, it's pretty much very similar to what I said about Gran, but sometimes she'll just hit you with a stray, like, you know, spacing trap into far M. It hits. She buffered her EX Rekka, and you're cornered from fucking Narnia. You could be on the other side of the screen. Okay, not literally, but it corners you from so far, and now you're fighting Jita while you're cornered. And I'm sure, as you guys know, in this game, being cornered is not good, but especially against characters, you know, that can space themselves out with fireballs or decent pokes. It feels very hard to get out of the corner. But I do think Jita's a little bit better than Gran and Narmaya. But I think I would put Yuel higher. Maybe not actually. I actually have a very, very high opinion of Jita. She was a character I was like, as I was dooming against Yuel, like when I was watching Diafoam and everyone was saying Yuel sucks, I was like, I'm just gonna switch to Jita. I think she's kind of broken. And I still do. Maybe not broken, that's an over-exaggeration, but I think she's great. Catalina is a character that I think I see people put fairly low. I've seen her here or the bottom of B. I don't think she's that bad, although I might end up leaving her in B anyway, but I think she'll be towards the top of B. She's the character I have the third most amount of time with. I know I picked 3 characters that are beautiful. Whatever, man. But yeah, Catalina, she often gets like the kind of criticism like she's too honest or whatever, which is like, I don't know. Whenever I hear that about any character in a fighting game, I often think it's bullshit. I think a lot of people's frustration with that is that they like just started playing Granblue Fantasy Versus, and fucking Soris is like dash attacking them 50% meter across the whole screen, and that just feels bad to play against. And then you play against a Catalina and it feels like what you're used to, you know, your basic footsies. But I don't think that's bad. Like, I think characters like this end up actually feeling better with time, whereas like dishonest characters sometimes end up feeling worse, sometimes not always, because a lot of the stuff they're doing is kind of gimmicky. And then the more you learn about it and the more you're like actively like, oh, Swords has 50% meter, I should not throw a long, you know, recovery button out. Those characters start to feel a bit worse. I actually think I might put Catalina at the end of A. We'll see by the end of the tier list, but I do think she's quite good. She's, again, my third most played character, and I have a lot of fun playing with her, and I never feel like bad playing her, you know? Like when I've seen people put her at the bottom of the list, I'm like, that seems bullshit. She feels fine. She's just not like crazy over the top. Soris I'll put in S as well. I don't think he's as good as Yuel, but I do think he's kind of, he is kind of insane. As I said, maybe as time goes on, their counterplay to some of his insane moves is just like, it's easier to play around once you're more used to it. But I do think they're just genuinely good moves, like his rush punch when he has 50 meter. It just has armor and a full combo, and it's safe on block, right? Like, how do you play around that besides wait for him to use it? I mean, maybe that's viable. Like, yeah, you'll bait him to waste 50 meter, but then the good Soris knows that you're waiting and he'll do other moves instead. Anyway, I do think he's good overall. I don't think he's a gimmick. I think he just has like objectively good moves, a lot of good special moves, high damage, and he's just good. The only real weakness I think he has is no DP without 50 meter, which I do think is a pretty big deal. But if he did have that, I might have him at like the top of S. Overall, I think he's just good. Charlotta, I would probably put her somewhere in A. I don't have a super strong opinion about her. I just don't like fighting her. She's kind of fucking annoying, if I'm being honest. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Maybe like she's gimmicking me out because I still don't know how to deal with the demon flip. Maybe is easy as I should. Overall, I don't think she's too crazy. I don't think she's too bad either. Again, if I'm putting someone in A, overall I just think they're like pretty good. Lancelot, I'm going to put in S. He's the best character in this tier for sure. I'm probably going to end up moving all these characters down now I think about it. Alright, I'm going to switch it to this because I don't think... we don't need to talk about this. I think C tier sounds bad. I don't think any character in this game is that bad. It's pretty much that simple. But I am going to move some characters down. We'll see how it ends up going, but we'll do something like this for now. Yeah, I'll do something like this for now. I think Lancelot is the first character that I wouldn't quite put up in S+. I do think these two characters are quite a bit better than him, but I do think Lancelot's very good. I'm sure you fought against one. I think his only big weakness is no DP without 50 meter. My kind of rating of how much of a weakness that is changes like day by day almost, but I do think it's objectively just a good option to have. Like, it makes people more scared to pressure you. So yeah, I do think that's pretty big, but overall I think Lancelot's just strong, a lot of good pressure, some good neutral skips. He's one of the best characters at baiting like the drive reversal. I don't remember what it's called, I'm sorry. Because he has so many ways to kind of keep you in block stun while not being right in front of you. Like, he makes you block a mini fireball and then he dashes all over the fucking place. Percival, I will put in B+. Not crazy strong opinions about him. I think he has great normals, which most people I'm sure would agree with. He's obviously very slow. I do think Catalina is better overall, but I do not think he's in like the worst character in the game tier. But I know some people do. Overall, I think he's just pretty good, but you know, Ladiva's next. I don't think Percival is as bad as Ladiva. I think she's just significantly worse. Slow, no crazy good neutral tools like to skip neutral or get in for free. Once she's in, it's a little scary, but that's grapplers in general. Like, I feel like you have all the tools in this game to keep her out. Okay, next character is Matera. Matera, I think I would put at the bottom of A. Like, I think she'll be one of the last characters here, maybe at the top of B. My opinion of her also changes quite a bit. I do think she kind of gets overwhelmed in this game. I wanted to pick her up as well. You know, there's a trend here, my character choice. And I was just like, nah, like, people are getting, like, this is too much work. I think when you get going with Matera, I've played very good Materas in Masters, and I'm like, wow, they're shitting on me. But it feels like they just know so much more about their character. I don't know what it is. You know, like, sometimes you play against someone, you're like, this guy just gorilla'd out and beat me. Fuck that character. I don't really get that with Matera. I feel like they are working very hard to keep me out, and then they find their ways to come in. Her not having a DP without 50 meter, I think, is a big deal. Lo Wayne, I would probably put at the bottom of A as well. I assumed he was a gimmick character. I didn't really play the first version of this game, but I'm pretty sure he was back then. He's a character that can gimmick you out with his supers, but you can outplay both of them, and then he just wastes the meter, so I think he'll end up using EX reversals maybe instead. But even then, I do think his super is pretty good. Not the SSBA one, like the normal one. The SSBA one feels like super gimmicky. You can actually punish him. Whereas the other one feels like kind of hard to deal with, but you can. I feel like spot dodge the low on reaction and just block high. But maybe I just haven't played a Lowain that's mixed it up well enough. I'm gonna leave him at A. Barry, I think I will leave at A as well. I don't think she's anything special. I do think she's better than Matera a little bit. They're pretty similar in that, you know, they try to keep me out. If they actually do get a hit on you, they get pretty decent pressure as well. That kind of archetype. Both have the same weakness of kind of probably getting just kind of like gorilla'd out, people dash attacking at them, full screen, 50 meter, skip neutral at them. That's a pretty big weakness, I would say. I'm actually gonna move Lo Wayne down, maybe Matera down, we'll see. But yeah, I do think Fairy's in this tier. I think these characters are all stronger. Maybe I would even do something like this. But for now, I think this is fine. Okay, Zeta. I think Zeta might be the best character in S tier. I'm not 100% sure, but this character is like kind of insane, I think. I have this problem with Zeta, and we'll talk about Beelzebub, where if you have a dive kick you can use when jumping back, you're just cheating, okay? It's bullshit. And Zeta gets so much off her if she has 50 meter. When a character's jumping away from you, you want to move forward, you want to like, okay, it's a defensive retreat, I can push them to the corner at least, I can't punish it. But then you press forward and they just dive kick at you and do a million damage. I think that's bullshit. She has pretty good mix-ups or like pressure, I guess, with her little pogo hop. Just good normals in general. A fireball, pretty well rounded. I'm not sure how I feel about her counter, but I would imagine a normal DP is better. I'm not too sure. Maybe Zeta players can tell me about how they feel about the counter. But overall, I feel like she just does it all. She does it all pretty well. The only reason she's not up here is because these characters are kind of abominations. But she's very, very good. Vasaraga, I'm gonna put Vasaraga down here with Ladiva. Maybe I'm underrating him. I haven't played a lot of Vasaragas, I won't lie. The first 5-10 times I played him against Vasaraga, I was like, this character is just cheesing me. What is he even doing? Why does he have armor everywhere? And then I kind of learned the matchup a bit. I feel like you can kind of get away. You can kind of do whatever you want against character. Even his 50-meter wake-up tool on reaction, I can just do Yuel's like back hop and like I can react to his reversal and get away from it. So maybe that's just a Yuel thing. So I'm rating him lower. But I don't think this character is very good. His damage is pretty high. When he gets armored up, yeah, he's a little hard to deal with. But like, I don't feel too troubled dealing with him. And yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Zoe. I think I would put Zoe above Fairy, but probably not as good as the rest of them. My opinion of her changes pretty often. She has a problem with no DP without 50 meter, which I do think is big. I think her neutral's fine. Her damage is okay. But nothing like strikes me as overwhelming with her. Yeah, but for now I would just have her in the middle of A. She seems fine. Oh, nothing crazy. Keg, I think Keg is very, very good. I would probably put her up here. I think her literal only weakness is no invincible reversal. But when she has 50 meters, she's very hard to deal with. She has funny mix-ups when she jumps at you and she has 50 meter. She can lay out very good traps. I think her normals are much better than I expected again versus this small little zoner girl. Yeah, I think Kag is just good overall. I do think maybe she gets crazy rushed down by characters like Yuel. I do think Yuel wins that matchup in general, but then I play with Narmaya and it feels a little more honest. But overall, just when I see Kag's kit, I'm like, this character can do a lot. She can do a lot of damage. She has a lot of conversions, even mid-screen, where she kind of like, if she has a trap out, she gets way more damage than usual, which is a thing a lot of other characters struggle with. Like, I think one of Yuel's biggest weaknesses, if she hits you mid-screen, she's not going to hurt you very much. Whereas Jita will just throw you in a corner, and Kag has the opportunity to do a lot of damage, and then other characters like Nier will fucking kill you. Overall, I think Kag is really good. Maybe I'm overestimating her because I don't actually have that much trouble fighting her with Yuel overall. But I do like just see her kit. I'm like, wow, she seems very good. Henri, honestly, I'm just gonna put him in B because I think he's worse than Catalina, but I have next to no bases. I fought this character 6 times. I think I won all 6. But he seems like he has good normals and a counter. But I swear, nothing he does feels threatening to me. I don't know. I don't think he's very good, but I've fought maybe 5 of them. Maybe he's secret OP, but just no one plays him. That'd be kind of funny. I would actually be down to play him. I kind of like playing the funny joke characters. Not joke, but like funny looking characters sometimes. Eustace. I would put Eustace probably right under Matera. I think they're very similar, but I do think Matera's a little bit better. Maybe that's controversial. I've heard a lot of people don't think Matera's very good. But yeah, overall, pretty much everything I said about Eustace and Barry, I'm not putting them here on purpose because they're all kind of like the zoners with no DP. But I do think they're around the same tier. They're all around, in my eyes, the same difficult to deal with. I obviously do not play these characters, so I don't know like if there's a lot of to be uncovered here. I do think all 3 of them actually do have like very unique mechanics. Like he's got his bomb. Matera in general just gets good pressure. Same with Fairy with her, what is it, Gigi? Yeah. I think Eustace is around this tier as well. Vira, I think Vira is incredibly good. Incredibly good. Her normals are privileged as fuck. If you play Persona 4 Arena, she reminds me of me through Stand Light, where I'm just like, she can just press this button, can't she? With her far medium. She's one of the characters that, similar to Yuel, gets to steal your turn if she baits you to not press buttons on block often. I mean, all other characters can, but I feel like these 2 kind of do it the most free. When she transforms whatever her installed, she's just disgusting. The other thing with Vira, if I made a tier list for what character should you pick to climb, you're a C player and you want to get to S++, I would actually put her up here. I think this character is so stupid to learn to fight because she has like 3 different DPs that you have to learn how to like deal with, right? Like she has her wake up super that's like minus, like it's not very minus. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes if you're gonna block it or not. So then you just don't end up punishing it. But if you block it point blank, you have to use a very quick button because it's not like crazy minus, but you can do like your crouch medium usually the time, but like even then you probably don't know that. Then she's transformed and she has this fucking DP that you have to spot dodge, or she wake up supers you and it hits 19 times and then she'll teleport and might hit you again if you like. She just has these stupid reversal options that like are just cheesy. Like they're not even good, they're just cheesy that you have to learn to fight against. So I think I've watched Diaphone take Vira to Masters, and even in S++ he was wake up DPing and people wouldn't punish it because they just didn't like get it yet. So yeah, this character It's very cheesy, but even besides that, I just think she's fundamentally good. Good normals, good advancing specials, pretty good U moves, great damage in the corner, pretty good damage mid-screen, especially when she's transformed. She hits like a truck. Okay, Beelzebub. I would actually put Beelzebub. I think I would put him maybe at the top of A tier, honestly. I think this character is actually pretty good. He's also just annoying to fight. It feels like no matter what point on the screen you are, he might just use a special move that either hits across the whole screen, or you have to react to if he's charging it or not, or he has the fucking Zeta problem where he's jumping away from me. I'm like, better go run him down. You know, that Pepe run meme. And then he just dive kicks at me and I'm like, what the hell, man? He walks very, very slow. His DP's not the best. I think those are his two big weaknesses, but I think his normals are great. I think his special moves are disgusting. And I get the feeling when I play this guy, like the other player is sometimes not even trying to play a fighting game. Like, this sounds like disrespectful, but you know what I mean? He's just like literally just jumping around using his dive kick and his full screen moves, and then his U pull where it's like you have to spot dodge it, but maybe you don't know that, and then like it's funny. But I don't think overall he's that crazy good, but he is pretty good, I think. I don't know how people often rate him. Maybe I'm underrating him, or maybe I'm overrating him. But I do think he's on the upper half of the game. Belial. Again, maybe I just have a low opinion of Lancelot. I think Belial's better than Lancelot as well. In fact, I think he's better than Vira. I think Belial does it all. Pretty much everything I've said about Jita, Gran, Narmaya, where I think they're pretty well-rounded. And overall, they're just really good. But I think Belial takes that to an extreme. I think everything he does is good. He has a plus on block crouching medium, which is just a good poke already. Why is it plus? I don't know. He has good mid-screen combos. Like, he doesn't have to, you don't have to be cornered to cash out, similar to the problem I talked about with Yuel and whatnot. He hits you mid-screen, he uses EX Fireball, gets like a longer combo, some good corner carry, and I do think he's one of the better characters in the game, for sure. Avatar Belial, I do not think this character is very good. I'm gonna put him, I actually think Percival's better. Maybe I'm just playing Avatar Belials who kill themselves by accident. But I feel like this was a character who, as you learn the game, you're like, what the fuck, he can do whatever he wants. And then you kind of learn about how some of his specials work and some of the counterplay, and it feels like he is literally killing himself while using these special moves that are like pretty good, but like they're not even better than some of the other special moves that characters, I don't know, like this character doesn't frighten me very much. Maybe he's a little bit better than I'm giving him credit for, because he does have like decent normals and whatnot, so I'll put him here. I'm gonna rearrange his tier a bit in general. I'll do that. Yeah, I don't think he's anything crazy, but overall, you know, pretty, I don't know, he's funny. He's funny. I like when my opponent uses him. I'll just put it that way. Anila, I do think Anila is pretty good. I would actually put her above Zoe, probably, maybe beside Narmaya. I don't think she's better than Narmaya. I'll do this. I think Carlotta might be a bit better. Not much to say about Anila overall. Good pokes, good neutral, pretty good, very good U moves. But she doesn't feel like she's ever like robbing you, which a lot of these other characters can do. I think from like Beelzebub onwards, every character here can just kind of steal around from you out of nowhere. Or she's kind of in the tier with Gran, Narmaya. A lot of it's kind of bullshit, but these characters are kind of just, you know, playing the game the way our good developers want it to be played. I'll put Siegfried up here. I think Siegfried is actually better than Lancelot. Again, maybe I'm just the Lancelot down player of all time, but very good normals, super high damage. Just, I think there's next to nothing wrong with Siegfried as a character. His only weakness is that more bullshit exists. He's very similar to Belial for me, where like just overall very good, nothing crazy. Like these three were the holy trinity of the best characters in the game. I think this game would be in a fantastic spot. They all feel obviously strong, but like fine to fight against in my eyes. I don't feel like, I mean, Zeta's a little bullshit, but yeah, my opinion of them are all very similar. They're strong, but I don't feel like I'm fighting a literal boss character like those other two above them. Grimnir I would actually probably put below Kag, I think. Maybe a bit higher than Yuel. Maybe I'd put Yuel higher. Yeah, I think I'll put Yuel higher. Again, I think his only real weakness is his lack of a wake-up DP. I think his neutral's quite good. His pressure's really good when he gets going. He's a character that's probably hard to deal with. You don't understand what he's doing, and once you do, he's still pretty hard to deal with, but overall he's pretty good. He's very similar to what I thought of Yuel and Soris, where they're good characters. They get away with some stuff. They have some kind of bullshit that other characters don't, but they're not on this tier where they'll just rob like the whole game away from you, or they have like no inherent weakness. So kind of down here. I shouldn't say down here. This is a very good spot to be in. Okay, Lucilius. I think I would put Lucilius right under Beelzebub. I'll put him higher. He has a lot of space to move because he's obviously still new. His biggest strength, I think, is his mid-screen damage. Next to Nier, it might even be the highest. Like, I feel like it doesn't even matter if you're cornered against this guy. He just gets a lot of damage on you. But I do think he had stuff that I felt was hard to deal with, and then as I understood him better, it was not nearly as bad as I thought. His normals are good. His stand light and his stand medium are like disgusting, but I don't know. There's something about him where he doesn't feel as threatening as a lot of other characters, even though I feel like he probably should. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put him at A+. Now that I think about him, like the only weakness I really think he has is his lack of a DP and his long cooldowns. But besides that, he's very good. His normals are really good. His damage is good in the corner or not. His unique moves or like his supercharged specials or whatever, I feel like they're all pretty strong. I do think he has weakness. This is kind of the tier of like you have weaknesses, but you're still really fucking good. And this is like you're starting not to have any weakness at all. And then this is like you're a fucking boss character. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I think I would put Catalina up here. I do think Catalina is not as bad as these other characters, and people kind of rate her low for being too honest, which is like again, I don't think that's a valid criticism in my eyes. I think being honest is fine if you have good normals and good neutral, which she does. Like that's some of the best things you can ask for in a fighting game. Overall, I think the game's fine. Like I don't feel the gap in character strength. And maybe it's just because I don't play these characters at the bottom here. But I play Narmaya against Belial, and I feel like it's just an honest fight, you know? Maybe they get a little bit more out of some of the stuff they do. But I do feel like we're still playing the same game, which is something you might not, you know what I mean? Like, if you've played, like, you know, the first season of Guilty Gear, and you're playing, like, Faust against fucking Soul, it honestly barely feels like you're playing the same game. They're doing, like, 10 times more damage than you. And, like, all their pressure is better and all this stuff. Guilty Gear's got way better over time, I think. But in this game, I don't get that feeling. Maybe it's just that the universal mechanics are good, like dash attack and the V reversal, whatnot. I think it's very well balanced, and yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about this list. If it's shit, let me know why you believe so, which characters you think should move up and down. And if you like Granblue, you want to see more, I will be releasing probably a long Yuel guide, maybe an Narmaya guide. And I will be playing 2B for sure. Nier Automata is my favorite game, so if you want to see some high-level 2B, I'm going to get her to Masters. I will not quit until that happens. I'll release a guide for her as well. I appreciate a like, comment, and subscription. Stay beautiful, my friends. I'll see you next time.